Self-love is the foundation of a meaningful and fulfilling life. When we truly love ourselves, we are setting the stage for everything else to fall into place. This isn't about arrogance or putting yourself on a pedestal above others. It's about recognizing your inherent worth and treating yourself with the same care, kindness, and respect you would offer someone you deeply love. Loving yourself is the gateway to finding inner peace and strength, and it enables you to navigate life's challenges with a sense of clarity and purpose. When you cultivate self-love, you begin to understand that it is the key to unlocking your full potential. It empowers you to take risks, embrace opportunities, and step into your power without being held back by self-doubt or fear of judgment. Think about how much energy is wasted when we criticize ourselves or dwell on our perceived shortcomings. Instead of allowing those negative thoughts to dominate your mind, self-love encourages you to focus on your strengths, celebrate your achievements, and recognize the beauty of being uniquely you. The journey towards self-love is not always easy, especially in a world that often emphasizes comparison and competition. From a young age, many of us are taught to seek validation from external sources, our parents, teachers, friends, or even society as a whole. While external validation may feel good temporarily, it is fleeting and unreliable. If your sense of worth depends on others' opinions, you are constantly at the mercy of circumstances you cannot control. This is why self-love is so crucial. It places the power back in your hands. When you love yourself, you no longer need to chase after approval or affirmation from others because you understand that your value is intrinsic and unwavering. Loving yourself also allows you to set healthy boundaries in relationships. When you truly value yourself, you won't tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or toxic behaviors from others. Instead, you'll have the strength to walk away from situations that don't serve your highest good. This doesn't mean you stop caring for others. It simply means you prioritize your well-being and protect your peace. Self-love teaches you that saying no to things that drain you is a way of saying yes to yourself. One of the most transformative aspects of self-love is the way it shifts your mindset. When you embrace self-love, you stop focusing on your perceived flaws and start recognizing your potential. You become less critical of yourself and more compassionate, understanding that mistakes and failures are part of growth. Instead of beating yourself up over things that go wrong, you begin to view challenges as opportunities to learn and improve. This mindset not only helps you grow, but also enhances your confidence and resilience. It's important to note that self-love is a practice, not a destination. It requires effort, intention, and patience. There will be days when you feel completely aligned with your worth and others when self-doubt creeps in. On those tougher days, remind yourself of the progress you've made and the reasons why you deserve love and kindness. Small acts of self-care, whether it's journaling your thoughts, taking a walk in nature, or spending time doing something you enjoy, can help you reconnect with yourself and reignite that sense of self-worth. Self-love also extends to how you handle relationships with others. When you love yourself, you are better equipped to give and receive love in a healthy, balanced way. You no longer feel the need to overextend yourself to prove your worth or seek validation through others' approval. Instead, you can approach relationships from a place of confidence and authenticity. This creates stronger connections because you're not relying on someone else to fill a void within you. You've already filled it yourself. Another critical aspect of self-love is how it influences your ability to forgive yourself. Everyone makes mistakes, but holding on to guilt or shame only weighs you down. Loving yourself means acknowledging your humanity and giving yourself the grace to move forward without being burdened by the past. It's about learning from your experiences, growing from them, and choosing to focus on the person you are becoming rather than the person you were. In a world that often tells us we're not enough, practicing self-love can feel like a revolutionary act. It's a way of reclaiming your narrative and rejecting the societal pressures that try to define your worth. When you love yourself, you take control of your life and make choices that align with your values, passions, and goals. You stop settling for less than you deserve and start striving for the life you truly want. Ultimately, self-love is not just about feeling good. It's about building a strong, unshakable foundation for your life. It's about treating yourself with kindness and respect, embracing your imperfections, and celebrating your strengths. When you love yourself, you create a ripple effect that positively impacts every area of your life, from your relationships to your career to your mental and emotional well-being. And perhaps most importantly, self-love reminds you that you are worthy just as you are. When you begin to love yourself more than anyone else, you start to realize the power of your own presence. This self-empowerment leads to a shift in how you engage with the world around you. Often we tend to place others' needs and opinions above our own, believing that doing so will bring us validation and fulfillment. Yet the more we prioritize others' expectations, the more disconnected we become from ourselves. True fulfillment, however, lies in honoring your own needs, dreams, and values. Learning to love yourself means learning to trust your intuition. You start to recognize that you hold the answers to your own happiness, and this recognition allows you to trust the decisions you make. When you place others' wants and needs above your own, it often stems from a place of seeking external approval. You might be afraid of rejection or fear that if you don't meet others' expectations, you'll be abandoned or unloved. But when you truly love yourself, you understand that the validation you seek from others should not replace the trust and confidence you have in yourself. This understanding transforms your perspective on relationships. When you place your self-worth in the hands of others, you constantly feel like you are not enough. The need for validation from someone else, whether it's a partner, friend, or colleague, can create a cycle of dependency that drains you emotionally, and mentally. When you take the time to prioritize your own self-love, this cycle ends. You begin to rely on yourself for validation, knowing that you don't need to seek approval or reassurance from others to feel worthy or capable. Loving yourself doesn't just mean celebrating your strengths, but also accepting your flaws and imperfections. It means embracing your unique qualities, the things that make you different, and recognizing them as assets rather than weaknesses. This self-acceptance is liberating because it frees you from the constant need to compare yourself to others. Instead of focusing on how you fall short in comparison, you focus on what makes you uniquely you, which adds richness and value to your life. When you love yourself, you also start to understand the importance of boundaries. Boundaries are a form of self-respect. They signal to others how you expect to be treated and what you are willing to tolerate. Without self-love, boundaries are often weak or non-existent. People who do not love themselves tend to overextend themselves, agreeing to things they do not want to do or allowing others to take advantage of them. Self-love teaches you to say no when something doesn't align with your values, comfort, or well-being. It's a form of self-preservation, and it protects you from being drained by toxic relationships or situations that are not in your best interest. As you continue to nurture your self-love, you also develop a stronger sense of self-worth. You stop doubting your capabilities and begin to see yourself as worthy of success, love, and happiness. This transformation can be profound. You begin to set goals that align with your true desires rather than goals influenced by the opinions or expectations of others. The more you nurture your self-worth, the more you step into your power and take action toward creating the life you desire. Self-love also means being your own best friend. The way you talk to yourself matters more than anything. Too often, people are their own worst critics, berating themselves for mistakes, shortcomings, or perceived flaws. But when you love yourself, you speak to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and understanding. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or where you failed, you recognize the lessons in those experiences. You forgive yourself, learn from the past, and give yourself the grace to grow. This practice of being kind to yourself is powerful. It not only strengthens your mental and emotional health, but also boosts your resilience. The more you accept yourself, the more you become equipped to handle life's challenges. When obstacles arise, you no longer crumble or question your worth. Instead, you face them with confidence, knowing that you are capable of overcoming anything that comes your way. You trust your ability to navigate difficulty because you have a solid foundation of self-love to lean on. Loving yourself more than anyone else also leads to more authentic connections with others. When you love yourself, you stop seeking out relationships for the wrong reasons. You stop trying to fix others or force connections out of a need to feel validated. Instead, you attract relationships that are genuine, respectful, and mutually fulfilling. The people who enter your life will be drawn to your authenticity, and you'll build stronger, healthier relationships because they are based on mutual respect and shared values rather than on need or dependency. Furthermore, when you love yourself, you become more at peace with being alone. Solitude is no longer seen as loneliness, but as an opportunity for growth, reflection, and self-discovery. You are no longer afraid of being by yourself because you understand that you aren't enough. You learn to enjoy your own company and find joy in the simple things, whether it's reading a book, taking a walk in nature, or reflecting on your goals. This independence is not about shutting others out, but about recognizing that your happiness and peace are within your control. Loving yourself more than anyone else also means taking care of your body, mind, and spirit. It's about recognizing that your well-being matters and deserves attention. This could mean adopting healthier habits, practicing mindfulness, or seeking help when needed. When you love yourself, you make time to nurture your physical and mental health, knowing that this will only benefit you in the long run. In conclusion, loving yourself more than anyone else is not about neglecting others or being selfish. It's about recognizing your worth and setting the standard for how you should be treated. It's about becoming your own biggest supporter, understanding that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. As you embrace self-love, you step into your power and create a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and aligned with your true self. When you begin to focus on loving yourself more than anyone else, one of the most profound shifts you will experience is in your sense of personal boundaries. Boundaries are often misunderstood as limitations or walls, but in reality, they are essential tools for ensuring your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Loving yourself more than anyone else means learning to establish boundaries that protect your peace, your energy, and your happiness. Boundaries are not about pushing others away or shutting them out. They are about teaching people how to treat you and respecting your own needs and limits. Too often, we find ourselves neglecting our boundaries in the name of love or to avoid conflict. We might say yes when we truly want to say no, or we allow others to take more from us than we are willing to give, all because we fear being disliked or rejected. However, when we choose to love ourselves first, we understand that boundaries are not a selfish act, but a necessary form of self-respect. By setting healthy boundaries, we create the space we need to recharge, reflect, and take care of ourselves, which ultimately makes us more capable of being present and loving to others. Boundaries come in many forms: emotional, physical, mental, and social. Emotional boundaries involve recognizing and honoring your own emotional needs. When you love yourself, you don't allow others to constantly drain you emotionally. You stop feeling guilty for taking time for yourself, and you begin to understand that it's okay to protect your emotional energy. For example, if a friend or family member continuously seeks you out for advice but never respects your time or emotional capacity, setting a boundary could mean saying, "I'm happy to help, but I need to take care of myself right now. Let's schedule another time to talk." This kind of boundary not only preserves your emotional well-being, but also teaches others to value your time and your feelings. Physical boundaries are also crucial when it comes to self-love. Loving yourself means honoring your body and its limits. You may feel pressure to push yourself physically in order to meet the expectations of others or to fit into certain molds. However, when you love yourself, you recognize that your body is a vessel that deserves care and respect. Physical boundaries could include making time for rest, exercising in a way that feels good for you, or saying no to commitments that exhaust you. It's about respecting your body's signals and taking action to ensure you're not overextending yourself physically. Mental boundaries are just as important as emotional and physical boundaries. Loving yourself means acknowledging your need for mental space and not allowing the constant noise of the world, other people's opinions, or self-doubt to consume you. Mental boundaries involve setting limits on the amount of mental energy you're willing to invest in situations that drain you or bring negativity into your life. If a particular conversation or activity leaves you feeling mentally exhausted or overwhelmed, it's a sign that you need to establish a boundary. This could mean taking a step back from certain people, limiting your exposure to negative news, or being more mindful of the thoughts you entertain in your mind. When you love yourself, you create a mental environment that supports your growth and well-being. Social boundaries are also critical in maintaining a healthy sense of self-love. Social boundaries involve knowing when to say no to social events, gatherings, or relationships that don't align with your values or that drain your energy. This doesn't mean isolating yourself or cutting people off, but rather understanding your limits and being honest with others about your needs. If a social situation feels overwhelming or unfulfilling, it's okay to choose not to participate. Loving yourself means realizing that you don't have to meet societal expectations of always being social or accommodating others at the expense of your own happiness. Setting and maintaining boundaries is an ongoing process, and it requires practice and self-awareness. It's easy to fall back into old habits of people-pleasing or neglecting our own needs, but when you truly love yourself, you develop the strength and courage to uphold the boundaries you've set. This might not always be easy, especially if you're used to putting others first, but with time, it becomes second nature. You learn that by respecting your own boundaries, you're teaching others to do the same. When you set healthy boundaries, you're also teaching others how to treat you. People will begin to understand that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are just as important as theirs. This is especially important in relationships, whether with friends, family, or a romantic partner. When you consistently uphold your boundaries, you build stronger, more respectful relationships that are based on mutual understanding and support. People who truly care about you will respect your boundaries, and those who don't may naturally drift away, making room for healthier and more supportive connections. In relationships, setting boundaries doesn't mean you're being distant or cold. It simply means you value yourself enough to ensure that your needs are met. It means being able to communicate openly about what you need, what you're comfortable with, and what you're not willing to tolerate. It's about creating a safe space for both you and others to thrive, free from manipulation, control, or disrespect. As you continue to cultivate self-love, your boundaries will become more defined and more natural to maintain. The clearer your boundaries become, the more you'll notice a shift in how others treat you. You'll stop feeling drained or taken advantage of because you've learned to prioritize your own well-being without guilt. The more you love yourself, the more you will protect yourself. And in doing so, you will create an environment that allows you to thrive emotionally, mentally, and physically. Ultimately, loving yourself more than anyone else is not about being selfish or disregarding others. It's about understanding that your happiness, peace, and well-being are your responsibility. By setting and maintaining healthy boundaries, you are making an investment in yourself and ensuring that you have the energy and strength to be the best version of yourself, not only for you, but for the people you care about as well. By loving yourself first, you show others how to love and respect you, creating relationships that are balanced, healthy, and fulfilling. When you decide to love yourself more than anyone else, one of the most powerful actions you can take is learning to prioritize your own needs over the expectations and demands of others. Too often we allow our sense of self-worth to be dictated by the opinions of those around us, whether that's family, friends, romantic partners, or society at large. We measure our value based on how much we can give to others, how much we can do for them, and how much we can meet their expectations. But the truth is, when we constantly put others first, we begin to lose ourselves. We sacrifice our own happiness, peace, and mental well-being in the process. In contrast, loving yourself means recognizing that your needs, desires, and dreams are just as important as anyone else's, and that you deserve to invest time, energy, and care into yourself. This concept of self-prioritization often feels foreign, especially if you've spent much of your life being a people pleaser or taken on the responsibilities of others. There's an inherent pressure to be selfless, to always be there for others, and to put their needs above your own. We might feel guilty for saying no when someone asks for help, or we might overextend ourselves to meet the needs of others in an attempt to feel loved or needed. However, this constant self-sacrifice leaves us drained, overwhelmed, and emotionally depleted. True self-love is the opposite. It requires us to put ourselves first, even when others may not understand, and to recognize that we can't pour from an empty cup. By putting ourselves first, we ensure that we have the emotional strength, energy, and capacity to be present for others in a healthier and more meaningful way. When we begin to prioritize ourselves, the first step is to become aware of our needs and desires. Too often, we become so focused on the needs of others that we lose sight of what we truly want and need. This is where self-awareness plays a crucial role. Understanding what makes you happy, what energizes you, and what helps you feel fulfilled is essential to the process of self-love. This doesn't mean ignoring the needs of others, but rather recognizing that your needs matter just as much. Self-prioritization is about finding balance, knowing when to say yes and when to say no, and understanding when you need to take a step back to focus on your own well-being. In practice, prioritizing yourself might involve making time for things that nurture your soul. This could be engaging in activities that bring you joy, such as reading, exercising, or spending time with people who lift you up. It might mean taking a break from obligations that drain you or choosing to say no to requests that are not in alignment with your priorities. It could also involve setting aside time for self-reflection, meditation, or simply resting. These actions may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you spent your life putting others first, but over time, you'll begin to realize the immense value in taking care of yourself. Part of prioritizing yourself is also learning to set boundaries. Boundaries are a key component of self-love because they create clear distinctions between what you are willing to give and what you are not. Boundaries protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being, ensuring that you don't give more than you can handle. When you put yourself first, you learn that it's okay to say no. You learn that you don't have to be everything to everyone. You don't have to answer every call, attend every event, or fulfill every request. Setting boundaries is about understanding your limitations and respecting your own needs, even if it means disappointing others. It's not selfish, it's a necessary form of self-respect. By setting boundaries, you also teach others how to treat you. People who care about you will respect your boundaries, and those who don't may eventually realize that they can no longer take advantage of your time and energy. This leads to healthier relationships where both parties respect each other's needs and space. It's a way of showing love for yourself and for others, because when you take care of yourself, you're in a better position to show up for the people you care about. Self-prioritization and boundaries go hand in hand. They're not about being indifferent to others, but about ensuring that you have the capacity to be a loving, supportive friend, family member, or partner. Prioritizing yourself also means investing in your personal growth. Self-love involves a commitment to becoming the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, but for you. This might mean pursuing your passions, learning new skills, or challenging yourself to step outside your comfort zone. When you prioritize your growth, you recognize that you are worthy of investing time and effort into your own development. Whether it's through education, travel, hobbies, or self-reflection, prioritizing yourself often involves exploring your potential and striving for improvement in all areas of your life. Another aspect of self-prioritization is learning to take care of your mental health. Mental well-being is just as important as physical well-being, yet it is often overlooked. Loving yourself means giving yourself permission to seek help when needed, whether that's through therapy, counseling, or simply taking time to process your emotions. It also means giving yourself grace during difficult times, knowing that you don't have to be perfect and that it's okay to struggle. Prioritizing your mental health also means eliminating negative influences and toxic relationships that harm your well-being. By putting yourself first, you allow yourself to create a life that is aligned with your values, goals, and desires. You stop living in response to others' expectations or demands, and instead you begin to live authentically, following your own path. This doesn't mean being dismissive or uncaring toward others. It simply means understanding that your needs are important and worthy of attention. Loving yourself more than anyone else gives you the confidence to say no to what doesn't serve you, and yes to what nurtures your soul. In conclusion, prioritizing yourself is a form of self-love that leads to greater happiness, fulfillment, and peace. It's not about being selfish. It's about understanding that you deserve the same care, attention, and respect that you so freely give to others. By learning to prioritize your own well-being, setting boundaries, and focusing on your growth, you create a life that reflects your true worth. In the end, loving yourself first allows you to show up as the best version of yourself for the people you love. And that is a gift that keeps on giving.